This conference will now be recorded.
I will take care of the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Where I stopped the last session? I discussed about the different types of flows, I guess. Right?
Yes.
Main flow, private flow, and subflow. Right?
Subflow.
And I have given some tasks to you to go through, understanding about what is a class, what the types of methods, how to invoke methods, or the syntax to create an object. Anyone gone through that? Again, I'm telling, please edit the name who is with the name admin. Otherwise, it will be discontinued from the session. This is the last call.
Pranay, it's me, but I'm not able to change it.
No, it is there. Pranay Reddy, right? I'm able to see that.
Yeah.
I can see one more participant here, admin.
Okay.
Sorry, no other option. I need to dismiss that. Unknown names will be dismissed. Yeah. If it is your participant, Raja Ravi, please take care of that. Okay. So, how many of you gone through this? Let's say that means the I mean what I asked for class types of methods and all. How many of you gone through? Everyone aware of that? At least the basic concept? Yes, no?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good to hear that everyone telling yes. Please let me start that. So as I said, starting only my session should be an interactive sessions. So I am expecting the answers from all. So what is a class?
Yeah. Class is
What
a
is
group of similar objects.
See, actually the statement I mean I'm not telling wrong, but not correct actually. I mean group of objects is
The
not a class.
blueprint of an object.
We can create an object by using a class, right? Not a group of a class. Okay, next.
It's a blueprint of an object.
It's a
Blueprint. Yeah,
Okay.
blueprint of creating objects.
Next.
It's a blueprint for creating objects.
Okay, blueprint is taken already. Okay, next. Next. Can we call that as a template?
Yes, template also. A class can be defined as a template or blueprint for that to describe the object.
Perfect. What else we can call this as class as? This is a class file. What else we can call this as a class file? That means this class file. Okay. Can you please tell me few predefined data structures? Data structures.
String, number. So sorry.
No, those are the data types.
Stack, queue, list, linked list,
array, linked list, map. All these are what are these? Data structure. Now I will call my class is also a data structure, but what type of data structure it is? Who is creating this data structure? You, user. So can I call this as user defined data structure? Yes. User defined data structure. Yes. Okay. Now what the class contains. So I can see many faces are new to this Java and what is the class and all, right? So okay, let me give one basic example. Any layman also can understand. This example I'm giving purely for a purpose of understanding what is a class. So I think we will celebrate one festival in India, that is Ganesha festival, right? On that day, every day, on that particular day, you'll go to the market and you will try to purchase one Ganesha idol to bring to your home, and right. So when you go to the market, you can see some idols with the same kind of a structure. Yes or no?
Yes.
You will celebrate Ganesha festival, right? By the way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe you may you may go to market or not, but you will find some idols in the market, right? Same kind of a structure. Now, do you think that each and every idol they will separately manufacture individually, or else is there any formula to build these structures?
Create
How they are
a
created?
template, blueprint,
Use a common
and
template.
then
Some formula actually for separate.
No,
So they use a common template.
common template. Can I call that as a mold?
Yep.
yes.
They will stuff some material into that, and once they extract out of that, the same structure of this mold will be replica in these idols. Yes or no? Right? In that case, can I call this mold as a class? Because mold is nothing but a template. Yes? Now can I call this as a class? And out of this class, these idols are extracted. So can I call these idols as an objects? Yes or no? Right? So how many idols we can create out of this template or a mold?
Number of objects.
A number.
Number.
Similarly, how many objects we can create out of a class?
A number.
Only 1 or 2 people are active in this session. What about others? Please respond, guys. Okay. I can see Munuswamy, you joined twice. I can see it as a 2 participants here.
Yeah, I joined.
Paid
You joined?
twice.
Okay, I think you joined
Actually, I
twice.
have a mic problem, so I joined through mobile also. Sujit,
Okay.
I joined
Okay.
through two devices, laptop and mobile.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. Now, hope everyone not aware of Java also and able to understand what is a class, at least have an idea, and what is an object. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
What the class contains? What is the structure of a class? What the class contains mainly?
Template or blueprint?
It contains
Attributes.
objects and methods.
Variables and
Methods.
methods. Very good. Methods are nothing but a functions again, right? Which has some block of a code to execute. So types of methods. What are the types of methods we have?
User defined and free.
No. Types of methods.
You mean to
Static
say
methods, instant methods.
parameter
Static method.
methods?
Static method,
Instance methods.
non-static.
Like
Static method and non-static method, right? Okay, assume that. Hope you understood about a class, right? Now, let me create one class. I'm going to create a class of employee type. Employee dot class. So of course we have some variables. I'm not going to discuss about the variables. Methods. We have 2 methods. How to declare any static method? By using a keyword called static,
Class name.
right?
Yes.
No, I'm not talking about invoking the class. How to define a method? Static method. So by using a static keyword. Now I have a method name get all employees, which is having some block of a code to execute and will return some value. I have one more method get employee by name, which will take some input argument. According to that input argument, it is going to execute some logic and return some value. Okay, I have 2 methods, static and non-static method. So how to invoke a static method? What is the syntax to invoke a static method?
You can directly call that method if it is static.
By using a class name?
Yes. If you are calling it in the same class, no need to mention the class name as well.
Pardon?
I mean, if you are calling the same method within the class, even you don't need to use the. I mean, you don't need to refer the class name.
Think in
If
a
you are
different.
calling outside the
Not in the
class,
same class. if you want normally, what is the syntax? If you want to invoke any static method directly by using a class name, okay, there is a subjective to if you are calling in same class, it will identify and directly you can use the method name. That is different, right?
Yes, yes.
Same, what you said is correct only, right? Now this is the syntax. Employee dot represents a reference. In that employee class, if we have multiple static methods, we can choose out of that, right? So right now I have only one, get all employees. How to invoke a non-static method?
By using object.
We need to follow some
Creating an
steps.
object.
First step is what?
Class.
Create an object.
Create an
Object.
object. Okay, next step.
Use object dot.
What is the next step? Once you create an object, then take that object into some variable. In Java, we'll call that as what? Objects reference. In other language, we'll call that as what? Address. Both are same. Next, once you take that object into objects reference, by using that objects reference dot, this is object reference dot non-static method employee by name, right? Now, what is the first step? Creating an object. How to create an object? What is the syntax to create an object? What is the syntax to create an object?
Class name.
Okay.
Class
name.
Object name equal to new.
Yeah.
New and
What is
class
that?
name.
New is a keyword in Java. Out of 52 or 53 keywords, new is a keyword in Java. So by declaring new, what you are trying to convey? You are trying to convey to the JVM that we are going to create a new object. But assume that this is a memory. Okay, behind the scenes, everything is a memory allocation. Okay, classes will be loaded into some area, method area, stack area, heap area, like that. Many areas are there available in memory. I don't want to confuse you with all those stuff. Assume that this is a memory location, right? Now, by using a new keyword, we are going to create one object, but of what type? In a memory, not only employee class, there could be a student class, a company class, many classes are available. How you are telling that JVM that we are going to create an object of employee type? Just we need to declare. That's what you said, right? First, class name, employee. So we are going to create an object of, new object of employee by using one constructor. There is a concept called constructor. By using that constructor, we can initialize the values. So by using the constructor, we can create an object. So what type of constructor it is? What I have written here?
No arguments constructor.
That means, is it a default constructor?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's by default constructor. Yeah.
It's a default constructor. If you want to pass any arguments, or that means if you want to create an object of a specific parameters, then you need to pass that parameters as an arguments to this constructor. Okay. So if you're not from Java background, ignore all this stuff. So this is the syntax to create a new object. New is a keyword to declare. That means we are telling to JVM that we are creating a new object of a employee type by using this constructor. Assume that in a memory, object got created. Right. Now, if you want to access this object in a memory, n number of locations were available. So how you tell to JVM that in order to access this object, what is the location? Suppose you are located in location X. Okay, your friend want to visit to your home, and 1 week before only you change to location Y. How you inform to your friend that you are located so and so place? By using an by sharing the address, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Everyone silent. Suddenly, what happened? So you share the address, right? So in Java, we'll call that address. That means address will have some name. So I'm giving some name to that object. So in other words, I'm taking that object into some variable. In Java, we'll call that as an objects reference. So by using this object reference, EMP dot, that means in that EMP, that means by using that EMP objects reference, we can invoke any non-static method present in that class. So right now, how many non-static methods present in that class? One. We can choose that. Get
employee by
name. So understood the concept here, how to invoke a static and how to invoke a non-static. So understanding about non-static, I mean by creating an object or taking that object into reference, by using that reference invoking a method, that's fine. But here, why we used directly the class name to invoke a static method? Why the difference here? Anyone can tell me? Why?
Objects, I mean, they store in JVM static area.
Can you please elaborate?
This is what I know, Sujit. I'm not a Java expert.
I mean, there is no dynamic calculations or dynamic manipulation on the static thing, whereas in in the other one we have giving something to manipulate.
Perfect. Let me. What I said is correct, sir. I will tell in a simple way. Assume that we have a variable for this employee class name, ID, company name. Out of these three parameters, which is a static and which is a non-static? If you are creating an employee object, employee 1, employee 2. So for all these employees, which parameter
name and ID will be non-static.
Company name will be common.
Company will be static. Yeah.
Company name will be static. So for every object, do I need to allocate some memory for this company name? Not required, no?
No.
Why can't we share directly? Reusability, right? For this name and city, definitely whenever you create an object, we need to allocate some and some space for that. That means some memory, because those are different for different objects. But company name will be same. That will be shared from the class, right? Same concept apply here in the methods also. Get all employees. Even if you are an employee added in the database, then also we will be getting a same. If at all one is deleted, then also it will be the same. No change. So it is a static. What is the non-static? Based on the name, you are going to get a value. That means if I pass the name, then only you will be getting that related value. Yes or no? Right? So understood? Now the point is, why directly we are calling this get all employees by using the class name? Because whenever you try to run this application, this class will be loaded into the memory. While it is loading into the memory, all the static methods and static variables will be loaded along with the class, because those are shareable, right? So from this, see, whenever I try to load this employee class, the static method also loaded, right? So where it is present in that class, directly by using class name, we can invoke a static methods. Got it? Clear? Clear about the differences, the concepts here? Hope now, even if you are from non-Java background, I hope you can understand the concept right now, what I discussed. Any questions? It's okay, Mike. No problem. You can carry on. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Tell me either yes or no.
It's very good.
Good to go. Okay. So what are the why I discussed all this stuff which is related to Java here? Because we are going to use the first module called Java module in Mule. Some Java developer has given a class to you. Now you want to invoke the methods present in that class by using a module called Java module. So every module will have some connectors, you know. Under HTTP, we have a request connector, we have a listener connector, like that, right? So every module will have some connectors. By using the connectors, you are going to invoke a static method, you are going to invoke a non-static method. How to invoke these two methods by using a Java module, we are going to see now, right? The same concept, what I discussed for last half an hour, the same concept, it is going to replica over there. Okay, that is why I spent a lot of time in explaining all this concept. Straight away, if I take you to Java module, who are not from Java background, definitely they might have some trouble, okay, while understanding about the Java module, right? So that's why we spent a lot of time. So let me import. Okay, till yesterday, what we have done, we have created my own project, right? I mean, created a new project and I worked on that. From now onwards, what I'm going to do, I have given some folder to you, MuleSoft 4.x folder. In that folder, you can see the one zip file, Mule4 labs and workspace. Once you extract this zip file, you will be getting some structure, right? So these all are the documents. For each and every topic, I'm going to give this document. That means you need to use this document. So till yesterday, about the query parameter, URI parameter and all, you might have used this 01 Mule basics document. If at all it's not done, if you're doing for the first time also, not a problem. Please go through the videos and open the document and treat this as a requirement and practice on the project. Which project? You can create your own project, or else I have given here one more zip file here, Mule4 workspace. Once you extract, again you will be getting a set of projects, predefined projects, which are created by me. That means for each and every topic, I will follow start and solution approach. In the document, you need to read the document, you need to import the start project, and you need to work on. If you're stuck up anywhere, go to the solution, import the solution project, and the answer is over there, right? So right now, I want to import this 01 Mule basic start project, which is related to Java module. So let me import. File, import. How to import? File, import AnyPoint Studio project from file system and browse for that file. Where it is there on my desktop, Mule4 workspace, under the workspace 01 Mule basic start. Select that folder and I'm selecting the 4.3 runtime. So I designed in the previous, a few days back. That's why it will ask for the perform update with the latest updates. So click on perform update. Now you can see 01 Mule basic start and 01 basics, which is I created. Now let me import one more project. This time only I'm going to import a solution project, not every time. Why I'm importing the solution project? Because let me explain. 01 Mule basics solution. So I know this Mule basic start and solution, these two projects are related to Java module, right? And these 01 basics are related to some basic stuff, right? So if I have 100 projects like that, which are related to database, which are related to some other modules, if I have 100 projects listed here, if you want to retrieve one project, you need to search entire, right? Now, instead of that, why can't we group related projects together? You know one thing, behind the scenes, right now you are able to see the project view. Behind the scenes, all these projects are grouped under one folder called other projects folder. Okay, by default. Let me show you. See, I'm using 7.5. Maybe the view is different. That means the look and feel may be different. The concept is same. Right now, you have a drop down here. In your 7.8 version, you have 3 dots. Both are same. Okay. View menu. Right now, the top level elements. That means the project view. Right now, we are in a project view. Now, let me change to working set. Working set means what? It's a folder view. I said all the projects by default under other projects. Now I want to create a new folder with 01 basics, which I will add to that folder. And I want to create one more 02 Java. And this start and solution projects I will add to that folder. Now it is very easy to retrieve. Since I grouped related projects together, right? Next. Now I want to work on this 01 Mule basic start. Java developer has given a class to me. What is the class name? What is the class name? Oh, is it audible? Are we
Stock
connected?
code service.
Yeah. Okay. Because sometimes what happens, this GoToMeeting will create a problem. Sometimes my audio will be lost to you and no connection. That's why I keep on asking whether it is audible. You need to respond. If you are responding, they can understand we are connected. So please respond. So what is the class name? Stock code service. How many methods present in that class file?
2 methods.
Two methods.
What are the types of methods? How to identify static
Static and
method?
non-static.
By using a static keyword. Static keyword. What is the static method name? I have written very simple code here. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to concentrate on the logic. Okay, logic I'm not concentrated. I'm concentrating on how to invoke the methods. Okay, what is the method name? Say hello is the method name, and which is expecting two input arguments. That argument name is what? Name and city. And this name and city of what type?
String type.
String type. Okay, next. Once I pass the value as, okay, my requirement is like this. My client is giving some requirement like slash. So this is the simple requirement. Okay. If my client is passing name value and city value as Sujit and Hyderabad, so it should return what? Hello Sujit from Hyderabad. Finally, if at all it is invoked. Got it? Next, we have one more method. What is the method? What type of method is it? It's a non-static method. What is the name of that non-static method? Get stock price.
Get stock price.
And what is the variable name? Stock symbol. Right? Stock symbol. Now, if I pass stock symbol value as IBM, what is the condition I have written? If stock symbol name is IBM, I'm using logical equals. Okay, it's a predefined method in Java. I'm using a logical equals. So is it matching IBM? No, right? So it will fail. Then it should go to the else. Again, I have to satisfy the condition. Is it matching? Yes. So it should return what? 200. Otherwise, it should return stock does not exist. So basically, I have written if else condition based on the input argument which you passed. Accordingly, it will return some value, right? So finally, I have two methods, static and non-static method. I'm going to invoke these two methods by using a Java module in Mule. First of all, according to the requirement, in order to listen to this request, what is the first component I need to configure? Okay, here I purposefully deleted as one Mule configuration file while designing, because while practicing you need to know how to create a new configuration file. How to create a new configuration file? New Mule configuration file, XML file, where we create, where we write the flows.
Create file, new.
Form.xml.
No. Where we write a flows.
Source.
SRC main Mule, right? Under that, okay, 1 second. Automatically dependencies are getting updated. Under SRC main Mule, right click on that new Mule configuration file, right? I'm just giving a name as Java. Click on OK. Yes. So what is the first component I need to configure?
HTTP listener.
HTTP listener.
Okay.
So always the flow name should be meaningful. First, I want to invoke a static method. Why can't I give a flow name as a meaningful name? I'm just writing invoke static. Flow names. Flow names means method names. So in Java also, when you are creating any method, according to the functionality of that method, you will be giving some name. Get all employees, get employee by name, like that, right? So I'm going to invoke a static method, right? What is the static method name? Because I would have given the same name, no? Got a static method name, say hello. Why? I will change the name to say hello. Same naming conventions. How you use in Java, same naming conventions you can use as well, right? But it is not a mandatory. So let me configure this listener. Every connector will have some connector configuration. 8081. What is the path? What is the path? Static is the path. Okay. Next. What is the next step? I want to use a Java module. But is there any Java module here as a dependency to my project?
No, we need to add it.
We need to add it. But we don't have HTTP and socket also. What I can do, let me close the project. Let me reopen that. Now we have HTTP and socket, you can see. So sometimes it might not show the dependencies here in the build path. So I close the project and refreshed it. So HTTP and socket by default, you know. But what is the module I need to add to my project now? From where I can add? Go to the add modules. In the add modules, just check. Yeah, I have a Java module. Let me, where I need to add? So in the build path. To add into the build path and as a dependency, you need to drop on this blue color space. Drag and drop here to add module to this project. So if I drop here, always take the latest version. See on the left side, your Java module is added right now as a dependency. Yes. And you are able to see that same dependency in the pom.xml file. Yes. Yes. That means,
Yes.
have you written this dependency in this XML, pom.xml? No, right? Automatically it will be updated. Okay. Let me remove the Java module. So from the build path, can I remove? No. Right click on this Java module, remove module. On the left side, it is updated. That means it is deleted. And go to the pom.xml. Will it be deleted? Yes. So only HTTP and socket connectors are available, modules are available, not a Java module. So simple. Once you drag and drop or add into the project, automatically it will be updated in your pom.xml also as a dependency. Okay. Right now I added. So under the Java module, we have some connectors: invoke static, new, validate type. Right. So validate type you can ignore; it is not important. So we'll concentrate on invoke static, and new. First, I want to invoke a static method. How to invoke a static method? Directly by using a class name. Right. So first, there is something called invoke static. Right. Just drag and drop the invoke static. Yeah. I want to invoke a static method, right? So we need to define the class name, right? If it is there in the build path, you can browse by using this option. Or else if you want to create your own Java class, by clicking on this plus sign, you can create a class. Since it is there in my build path, I will try to browse that from my build path. So what is the class name? Stop code service, right? So how many static methods are present under the class? Only one. Yes or no? Say hello is the method. So automatically it will fetch that method. If you have multiple, if you click on this drop down, it will be listed here. You can select from that. If you have multiple static methods, right? I have only one, it is automatically selected. Now in the drop down, I have one more. What is that? Can you identify what is that?
Non-static method.
No, see the method name. Say hello only, no? It's nothing but metadata of your method. What you are able to see here, say hello string name and city. Say hello. String is what type? I mean, string is the class in Java. Part of which package? Lang package. That is the metadata given. Okay. Now, I want to pass the input arguments to the name and city. How to pass the name and city arguments? That means how to pass that values by extracting this query parameters. How to extract any query parameter?
Question mark.
What is the expression? What is the expression you will write?
Query params dot something. Message dot query params.
Message dot
Message.
attributes dot.
Message
Yes.
dot attributes dot query params dot key uname. Correct?
Uname.
Okay.
And
Now, where I can write the data view expression, we need to switch to expression mode. Under the args, switch to expression mode. Right now I'm in a expression mode. Some missing body. So let me create that syntax. So here we can see graphical view. Click on that graphical view. Right. Here you can see what is the input for this invoke static after the listener?
mule
Name
What is
and
the
name, uname and city.
no.
mule format, like variables, attributes, payload.
Yeah, what is that format? Event. It's an event, right? In that event, as of now, am I getting any payload? No. Empty payload. Did I created any variable? Empty variable. But HTTP listener, am I getting any attributes?
Yes. Uname,
Query
uname
parameter
and UCT.
right? Query parameter attribute. So query params. So on the output side, you can see from the method automatically it fetch the arg0 and arg1. What is the arg0? Name and city. If you are using 8 GB of RAM size in your machine, you may that means internally this data sense is not able to work. There is all the metadata. At that point of time, instead of name and city, you may get arg0 and arg1. Both are same. Arg0 is nothing but a name. Arg1 is nothing but a city. Okay, don't get panic if you get arg0 and not picking the name and city values. Okay, don't get panic over there. So you will see arg0 and arg1. Please go ahead and do. Internally, it will treat arg0 as a name, arg1 as a city. Okay, now it's automatically picked. Now, instead of writing the expression, can I map that? But it is not allowed. Why? Here is the issue. Missing body expression. So what is the missing here? By default, this structure should be there. It's nothing but we are declaring as we are going to use a data view expression language 2.0 and the output format should be application / any format. By default, it should be Java. 3 hyphens are nothing but a separator between header and the body. Very simple structure. This is the basic structure required. What is the first line? Declaration. We are using a data view 2.0. It's up to you whether you want to write it or you don't want to write it. Both are same. Okay, you can remove because in Mule 4 we use only data view 2.0. It supports only data view language, right? And whatever the body you write here, automatically the output of that body should be in the format what you specified here, right? Output format. And header and body will be separated by these 3 hyphens. Okay, separator. Okay, now if I drag and drop on this name, instead of you writing the expression, automatically it will write. See, one more thing you need to, I just want to update. Previously, for explanation purpose, I said message dot attribute because from the message you are extracting the attributes, right? Now, instead of, no need to write a message. Directly write the attributes. My runtime will understand that. Attributes dot query params dot
Uname.
Next, let me drag and drop again on city. Params dot UCT. So these expressions will be evaluated and will pass that values to name and city, which is going to pass as an input arguments to this say hello method. So if I deploy this application, what is the response you are going to get once I send it? Yes, this method will be invoked. Say hello method will be invoked. And what is the ultimate response? Return value. Hello, Sujit from Hyderabad. By the way, I'm not from Hyderabad. I'm just using this statement. So invoking static method is a straightforward. So invoking a non-static method involves many steps. What are the steps we'll see once I get a response? So it is deployed. Can I give a request now? So am I getting a response here? That means I'm able to invoke the static method. Now change. The request is changed like this. So this request. So first let me have a listener. I'm going to invoke a non-static method. What is the method name? Get stock price is the method name, right? Get stock price. I'm just writing the flow name. Also same thing. Next. So can I use the same listener configuration? Yes. Since it is acting as a global element, I can use the same configuration. But how any flow will be uniquely identified? By path, right? Next. So just to follow these same steps. In order to create, so in order to invoke a non-static method, first step is what? We need to create an object, correct? We need to create an object. How to create an object? What is the syntax? Is it a syntax? Right?
Yes.
How you tell to JVM that we are going to create a new object? By using a new connector. In Java, we use a new keyword. Here it's a new connector, right? So new, we are deciding, I mean, we are declaring that we are going to create a new object of what type and what constructor. You need to define the type. So for this class, stock code service, I'm going to create an object by using what construct. Automatically, it will pick the constructor with the class name. If you want to pass elements, if you want to pass an parameterized constructor, then you need to pass the arguments by using this arg stack, right? Now, I have created one object in a memory. Now, what is the next step? I need to take that object into some variable. That means in Java, we'll call that as what? Object reference. So there is an advanced tab in the new. Whatever the object you created, it is acting as a payload right now. That I'm going to take it into some variable. I'm just giving SQS as a variable name. So I have taken that object into some objects reference. What is the next step? Invoking. So invoking the non-static method. How to invoke a non-static method? There is one more connector called invoke. If you hover the mouse onto that, you can read what it is, what is the functionality of that. So I'm using a invoke, right? So yeah. So how to invoke? By using an
Class object reference.
Objects reference, right? Where that object is present, instance is nothing but an object, right? So where that object is present, I need to extract that variable. Object is present in that variable. So click on this expression. What? How to extract a variable? What is the keyword? Where's is a keyword, right? Where's dot. How many variables I created here? One, right? Next, I'm going to invoke a non-static method present in that. But for which that non-static method present in which class? Stock code service.
Stock code.
Now, if you click on a drop down, how many methods will be visible?
Only one.
Only one. Who are from Java background? I'm expecting the answers from them. Correct answer. How many methods we are able to see? Yes, yes.
Maybe two methods, right?
Two methods. Why? Why?
Although the static belongs to the class.
No. We are invoking a non-static method only here. It will fetch
Oh.
only non-static methods. What are the methods? From where we am getting this all the methods?
Predefined methods.
Predefined methods means okay. What is the parent class for all classes in Java?
Object.
What is the mother of all classes?
Object.
Object class. So these all are the non-static methods are inherited from the object class. Yes. Whenever you create any object in Java, by default, all the non-static methods present in the object class will be inherited. It's up to you whether you want to override and use it or not. So right now, I want which method to be invoked? Get stock price, right? So for this get stock price, what is the argument to be passed? How to pass the arguments? FX button, graphic view. So what is the structure missing? Can you please help me out?
Application output or something. Application Java.
Application slash Java.
Java.
3- separator and a object, right? Now this time I don't want to map. I will write it. So what I need to write? Stock symbol. Yeah, can you please tell me the expression?
Object name.
No. Data view expression to extract this value from the query params.
Attributes. Return.
So do I need to write as string? Do I require to write an as string?
But better to.
Not required. When you use the typecasting, when you are concatenating this expression with a string, am I concatenating as a string? No, right? Not required. Click on OK. So I will use a logger. Okay, for this one I will use a logger. Whatever the payload at the end, I'm going to extract that, save it. So I just redeployed this application. Yes. Deployed. Can I give a request? What it should return? 200 value. If the name is different, stock does not exist. Basically, I'm able to invoke a non-static method. Whatever we discussed first half an hour, exactly replica what we have done in the Mule application also. Yes. Understood? Not understood? Clear?
Yes.
Yes. Now go to the folder. I said right how to practice. Use this using Java module, step by step, clearly written, right? But as I said, the practice, how to do the practice, you know. I mean, we are all grown-ups. We know how to do it. But I'll give some suggestion. Please watch the entire video once. Once you watch the video, then open the document. Please treat those as a requirements, what to do and what not to do, and try to practice in the start project. Don't do parallelly by seeing the video. Never ever will remember that steps. Okay, please watch that, remember, then open the document and practice. This is the learning practice which I follow. Okay, I mean, it's helped a lot. It's up to you whether you take it or not. Just I want to share that one. Yeah, that's all from my end. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about deployment strategies, how to deploy your application on an on-premise and a hybrid model. Till now we have deployed our application on a standalone Anypoint Studio, which is an embedded runtime in your Anypoint Studio, right? So tomorrow we'll see in the production environment if we have a standalone and a hybrid model, which is a combination of on-premises and cloud, how to deploy on those, how to register the server, all these things we'll see in a tomorrow's session. Okay. By the time, please practice what and all of the sessions we completed till now. Don't get all the concepts piled up. At the end, it will be like a very big one, right? Thank you.
Sujit,
I'm here.
hello. Sujit, can you
I'm
please
here.
share me yesterday's video?
It is there. Same link.
I haven't received.
No, it will not receive. You need to refresh that link. Automatically, it will update it over there.
I think I have done it, but yes.
1 second. Let me check.
Yes, I can see that now. Thank you.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
morning I verified it.
Morning, it is not. It was not there.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, late. I had uploaded.
No problem.